Hi, and welcome to this course. What is the concept behind Object-Oriented Programming, or OOP for short? Object-Oriented Programming is a style of writing code that allows one to group similar tasks into classes. This helps keep code easy to maintain and follows a dry principle of programming. The main idea of dry programming is that if a piece of information changes in your program, only one segment of that change is required to update the entire code or program. Object-oriented programming revolves around objects and classes, and various other concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. In order to understand the concept behind OOP, let's use a person as an example. We know that every person has body parts such as eyes, hands, legs, etc. Then every person can see, walk, talk, hear, etc. Now, what is a class? From the example given, let's present person as an example of a class. By definition, a class is a blueprint of an entity or a description of something in your program. A class defines two things: properties and methods. Properties are like variables, arrays, or some kind of data, while methods are functions or behaviors of a given class. So, considering our person class example, the properties are like the hands, legs, and eyes of the person class. Then, the methods are like saying, walking, and talking, which are actions of the person class. Next, what is an object? A class simply describes an object. An object is like a group of data put together by a common theme. For example, my name is Edmond, and I'm an object or instance of the class person. I'm an object with the name Edmond, with variables, functions, and some kind of data structure inside of me. So, this is just a simple way to demonstrate what classes and objects are. And I hope that you understand this basic example. If not, for some reasons you have questions, I'm here and happy to help you. Before we start working with PHP, we need to set up our development environment. We need to have access to a working installation of Apache, PHP, and MySQL in our local machine. Fortunately, the development community has made installation so easy, whether you're creating an application for Windows, Mac, or Linux. The option include all-in-one solution for setting up Apache, MySQL, and PHP. The program is nothing but XAMPP, and to obtain a copy of XAMPP, we need to fire up our browser and enter www.apachefriends.org. And here we have it. You can see that it is free and you don't have to pay any dime to download. It is available in different operating systems. So I can simply click to download the latest version for my operating system. But I'm not going to do that anymore because I have it downloaded already on my computer. So after the download is finished, you should be able to install it the normal way you do install Windows application. Once your installation is finished, it should be able to start up the control panel. But in case you didn't see the control panel, you can simply go to your computer, local disk, then your newly created XAMPP folder. Within the folder, you can locate the XAMPP control panel. So what I love to do, I will right click and then send to create a shortcut in my desktop. Now that I have it on my desktop, I will simply open it. Then I will start MySQL and Apache service. Sometimes you may be prompted that the server is allowed to run on your computer. So next, I need to verify if everything is working correctly. We'll open up our browser and go to localhost. If everything is working correctly, you should be able to see this screen. If not, you have to uninstall and install it back again. But for any reason you have any problem, you should always contact me. So the address localhost is telling the server to open the root web directory and is the htdocs folder contained in the XAMPP install directory. Another way to access it is by entering the IP address 127.0.01 and it gives us the same result. Finally, our next piece of software we need to get is the Sublime. Sublime is a text editor and is free and powerful. Though there are other text editors out there you may want to choose from. Once you've downloaded it and have it installed, you can simply open it up. Hi and welcome to this lecture. The first thing we are going to be doing is to create a class. To create a class, you enter the class keyword, followed by the name of the class. Let's call it person. And after that, you enter an opening curly brace and a closing curly brace. By doing this, you have created a class called person. And by convention, a class name must begin with an uppercase. So, if I then run this in the browser, of course, nothing will happen because the class is empty and I haven't done anything with it. So, how then can I use this class? What we need to do is to instantiate this class. The instantiate means using the class. So I'm going to create a particular person. The way to do this is to create a variable. And let's call it person A equal to new person. That's it. I can then create many of these as I want. So in this case, person A as my variable name is an object, which is an instance or example of this general class, person. If I run this again, you can see that nothing happens because I haven't outputted anything yet. The easiest way to see what is happening is to use var _dump person. If I run this, you can see that the PHP engine knows that it is an object called person and no content yet. So, this is how simple it is to create a class and to create an object which is a particular instance of the person class. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In the last lecture, we looked at how to create a class and how to instantiate a class. So, in this lecture, we will look at properties. In object-oriented programming, variables are called properties. They are called properties when within a class. So, we define them just like variables. For example, let's say we have age. And let's give it a value of 25. Next, we do have to add something to it. That is, we need to define the scope of this property. For now, let's give it a visibility of public. Don't worry too much about this for now. Later I will go into greater details. The public actually means that it can be accessed outside the class. So, how do we actually get that code out if we want it? Okay, it's very simple. I will say echo person A followed by a dash and a greater than sign. Then the property we want is age. If I refresh the page, and here we have it. So a property is a variable that exists within a class. And if it is set to be public, it means we can have access to it even from outside the class by using the object and this symbol to access whatever properties we have. Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to look at methods. In OOP, methods are just like functions, and we define them just like we define functions. The only difference is that it exists inside a class, and that's why they are called methods. So, to define a method, we still have to specify the public keyword because we want to access it outside of the function. Then I'm going to have function. And this function is going to say hello or greetings. Again, we use a curly bracket to contain our function. So at the moment, this function is going to do nothing but say hello. Okay, how do I access this particular function? So here, instead of person A, age, I'm going to delete this and enter greetings. And because it's a function, I will include the opening and close bracket. Now if I refresh the browser, and here we have it, hello. So this is just a simple function. Usually we can also return something. So I can change this to return hello. If I refresh the browser again, and here we have the same result. Another thing to know about method is that we can also return properties and do something with it. So what I will do simply is to add a dot which will concatenate whatever I want to write next. So to actually return the property age, I will use this keyword. This essentially refers to this particular object. It allows us to approach the class properties and method from within the class. And then I want to access the age. One thing to note is that when this is used, you don't have to include the dollar symbol in property since it is already included in the this keyword. If we test this, and here we have it, hello 25. Or instead of saying hello 25, I will create another property called name and assign it a value of Mike. And then change this to name. And here we have it. What if I want to add more functionality to our existing method? Let's say I want to increment the age. I will simply add plus plus and then return this age. Before we run this, let's rename our function to something more descriptive. Let's call it increment. Great. We now have 26. So this method has just increased the age to 26, but the general or default age for this class is 25. We've now covered the basics of object-oriented programming, and before we move on to some advanced topic in the next section, I'm going to present to you a little challenge in the next video. Hello and welcome to our first challenge in this series. What I want you to do is create a new class from scratch. Try to do it without referring back to the previous video. So I want you to create a class called car. Then create some property that will hold both the car name and model. After that, create methods that will return the properties you have created. At the end of this challenge, this should be your output or result. I'm going to give you some time to pause the video and do that. Then in the next lecture, I will quickly run you through how I did mine. Great. Welcome back. Hope you've been able to solve that challenge. This is my own solution. First, I created the car class. After that, I created two properties, name underscore car1 with a value of BMW X7 and name underscore car2 with a value of Lexus. Next, I created a method called car underscore BMW, and within the method, I have a variable that holds the property car1, and I return the car underscore BMW variable, and I also did the same for this car underscore Lexus. Finally, I instantiated the class and echoed out each of the objects with a line break between them. Note, you can actually have your code structured in different ways, but same result will be achieved. For now, congratulations for having made it through the basics. See you in the next sections for more advanced stuffs on OOP.